Timrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurumilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangolang Hayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamahang Vande Sri Gurun Dinatarinam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jata Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shivashakan Vitangscha Nindantam Pulakot Karena Vikasam Nipa Prasunachchavim Prodrikritva Bhujadvayam Hari Hari It Uchay Vidantam Muhu Nittantam Dutam Asrunir Jarachaye Sinchantam Urvitalam Gayantam Nija Parasadaya Parivritam Sri Gaura Chandram Nama Namo Mahavaranaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tishe Nama Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himava Divyachcha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste. Yeah.
We have a question from Ajita Krishna Prabhu. So he's asking, will it be legitimate to say at some level and legitimate to see subjective evolution of consciousness, the way it is presented in Guru Maharaj's book, as the evolution of spiritual taste of a jiva soul and the evolution of spiritual sweetness?
Spiritual?
Sweetness.
Sweetness. What was the first part? Ended on sweetness, and the one before that?
As the evolution of spiritual taste of jiva soul, of a jiva soul.
Sometimes Srila Guru Maharaj will say that or remind us in considering evolution that what we're observing as evolving really, it already has a particular position. Like the sun. The sun has a particular position, but from a certain viewpoint or perspective, it's seen to be, twilight, just before sunrise, and then we see it gradually appearing, and then so it appears it's achieving a particular position. That's from a relative perspective. Actually, it has that position. But both things are there. So Mahaprabhu, he says, Jive Swarapai Krishnera Nitya Das. That they're eternally Krishna Das. And everything that goes with being Krishna Das. Or like Krishna Das, Radha Dasi. Right? So from a particular point of view, or analysis, we can see someone gradually evolve towards, it appears they're gradually evolving towards their eternal position. But from another point of view, that is their substantial position. But it does not deny the apparent progress towards that. And factor in that that substantial position is not something that's static, but ecstatic, right? Dynamic. Guru Maharaj always made that point. Sometimes even, and like, we hear the expression like an ocean of ecstasy, right? And you think, well, that's enough. But Guru Maharaj would say, and not a static ocean. Like, don't think of it in that way. So it's somewhat difficult to speak about these things. But if we can catch the gist of what is there. So from one point of view, we see someone apparently evolving towards a particular position. But then from another point of view, they'll say, wasn't that always their position? And so then we have to introduce the concept of Leela. In the Jaiva Dharma Bhakti Thakur discussion on the Jiva, Shakti, many different questions are being posed. And at one point it's mentioned that with regard to the miseries that are suffered by the jiva, but a comparison is made that when you want to purify gold, it's put in fire. And we've seen this at the goldsmiths in India, that if someone was going there to sell some gold or maybe purchase something, they would put it in fire, and we would see that it's covered in soot, it becomes black. And then they wipe away, and then they can see the pure quality of the gold. So the point being made there is the suffering condition, the varieties of material misery, adhyatmic, adibodhic, adidevic, in this world. It's like putting the gold in fire. If, as the fire brings the gold to its pure natural condition without any adulteration, right? What's the other word? Amalgam, what is it? Alloy, right? It's unalloyed, pure gold. Right? So as that fire is not objectionable, but in one sense a necessary part to reveal the purity of the gold. The point being made there is, so these apparent suffering of the jiva souls, if it brings them at last, it's like a type of fire, if it brings them to their pure natural state, then is it really objectionable? Right? From another point of view, it might even be seen as desirable. But then the question is posed, and so why do the jivas why do they have to have pastimes of suffering? Like, as Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj in his Purvashram as a Grihastha, his son, we're told, the boy, when they thought, what was his idea of Goloka? He said, a swimming pool of rasgolas. So a swimming pool of sweet balls, and you're diving, and one's in your mouth, and you're swimming, and as a child, that was his idea. So the person saying, oh, why can't it be another way that we realize our innate good fortune? Why the suffering is necessary? Why pastimes that include suffering? And the answer given is, which pastimes with Krishna do not include suffering? So Mother Yashoda practically cried herself blind in separation from Krishna. That's beyond any sort of physical suffering. The Braja Gopis experiencing the anguish of separation. So I find it interesting that we can say that the cause of all suffering is forgetfulness of Krishna. The cause of suffering and separation. The cure is remembrance. It's not that there's one cure for the Braja Gopis who are suffering the anguish of separation, and there's another cure for those souls who are separated in forgetfulness. The cure is the same. We hear in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, which is the ultimate course, cure. Nivritta tarshayar upagiyamanad bhavoshadat shrota manobhiramat ka uttamasloka gunanavadat something pashugnat virajeta. Forget the last line. But this is mentioned between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. Because remember, Parikshit Maharaj has been cursed to die in 7 days, and he's fasting from liquids and solid food, total fast. But he's saying in this verse that he's not thirsty or hungry. And he's saying, in fact, the only thing that he's lost his thirst for the mundane. There's no mundane hunger, there's no mundane thirst, literally or metaphorically. Not thirsting for mundane substance of any sort, subtle or gross. Saying on account of what? Bhavoshadach, bhava oshud, drinking the medicine for the suffering of material existence, which is hearing about Krishna's pastimes, particularly his pastimes with Srimati Radharani and Braja Gopis. So he's saying, I'm not thirsty, in fact, I feel like I'm just drinking nectar. Guru says, Tushyanti cha ramanti cha in Bhagavad Gita. What's the first line? In the nutshell slokas. Anyway, saying by glorifying Krishna, majchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantas chamam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. By engaging in Krishna katha, by singing the glories of Krishna and his devotees. Okay? It's as if they're feasting. Tushanti cha, ramanti cha. Right? And even beyond that, there's total sensual engagement in hearing the pastimes of Krishna. So, and Parikshit Maharaj shares with everyone there his feeling that, he said, normally the medicine that is the cure for something, it tastes horrible, or it's terrible. We know all the time people give you something and they go, oh, this is so terrible, and they go, it's good for you, or it'll cure you, or the so-called, the cliche, bitter medicine. You think, but this medicine is not bitter. It's so sweet, and producing so much enjoyment by taking this medicine, drinking this medicine. When the Braja Gopis are suffering the anguish of separation from Krishna, what do? We hear in the Gopi Gita, Tava katamritam, tapta jivanam, kavibir iditam, kalmasha apaham, Sravana Mangalam Srimad Bhuvi Granantite Buridajana. We talk about you. And by talking about you, Tava Katamritam, the nectar of hearing about you, gives us life and puts an end to our suffering condition. Right? Sravana Mangalam. Hearing about Krishna is the beginning of auspiciousness in one's life. And continued auspiciousness. Srimad Atatam, and fills the heart with some peculiar sort of ecstatic wealth. And they're saying, Bhuvi Granantite Buridajana. And those who are doing this in the world, they're the real welfare workers, altruists, humanitarians, the real servants of humanity. They're doing something substantial in the world. When Mahaprabhu, after dancing so much in Rath Yatra, his Madhur Nritya, his sweet sort of dancing, his, what is the other one? Udanda, jump, leaping up high and coming down again. And Tandava Nritya, like Shiva, madly, frenetic, ecstatic dancing. After halfway through, he's exhausted, enters that garden, perhaps Jagannath Vallabha garden, and Prataparudra Maharaj is sent there not in the dress of a king, but in the guise of a Vaishnav. And so Mahaprabhu is lying, and he's sent to massage his feet, and while he's massaging his feet, he starts singing the Gopi Gita, right, where this verse is found, being Jaya Tite Dikam Janmana Vraja. But so many beautiful verses are there. Atatiyad Bhavan Anikananam Tutirigayate Tamapashitam, where they say they're cursing Brahma for making eyes that blink. That's one of their songs. And as Gurudev pointed out, in the introductory slokas of the Bhagavatam, as is fitting for the Mahapurana, you would expect the introduction should be something so grand and overpowering. Janmad yasya yaton bayaditaratascha arte shuva bhigya swarat. Gurudev said, like the dancing of elephants. Fascinating, astonishing, but you want to keep your distance. He said, whereas when the same Vedavyas, when he's in the Gopi Gita, these beautiful verses with their internal rhyme schemes. Like, you see, tava katam ritam tapta ta, tava katam ritam tapta jivanam, kavibir idasham kalmasha apaham, swavana mangalam shri madatatam. So ta ta ka ka. All these beautiful internal rhyme schemes. And so he's saying, when it's coming from the hearts of the Braja Gopis, he's shifted to this beautiful, sweet, poetic mode. And they're saying, this is the cure. And those who are distributing this cure, they're giving the most beneficial thing in the world. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priyakritama. Krishna tells Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, who reveals the contents of this conversation we're having, they're most dear to me. And they're doing the greatest service to people in this world. So, when Prataparudra is singing the Gopi Gita, Mahaprabhu was so overwhelmed, and he's thinking, what you're giving to me now, there's no greater gift than this. And if I were to give myself to you, I don't know how to repay you for what you've given me. So all I can do is embrace you. So Mahaprabhu, who rejected him and rejected every proposal to meet with him as a king, be it unfitting for a sannyasi, now, and Prataparudra, absent the Rajvesh dress of a king, as a humble Vaishnava, singing Gopi Gita, Mahaprabhu, at last he gets the embrace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you have to think about this. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahayanya. If he is certifying that this is the greatest gift in the world, this is the best thing you can do for anyone, for them to hear about Krishna, how can we think otherwise? When we were traveling and preaching in Russia, and we're in this town, forgive my pronunciation, but I believe it's called Petrozavodsk. Close enough? All right. And there's a big lake there, that I remember, or near there. But we're in this house and we're having Harikatha every evening, and like it's always some devotee and then their family sort of either appreciating or at least tolerating or something. But the person, I think it was his sister, she says, every night we're having these meetings engaged in Harikatha, Krishna Katha. And she's saying, if you want to help people, why don't you, like go and distribute some food or shelter or clothing or do something substantial for people. And that would be the normal argument that people would make for people who see this world as all in all. Right? What are we told is one definition of Shudra? One who laments. It means like who goes, oh, who's wailing in lamentation. And what did Guru Maharaj say? One who accepts this world as all in all will end up in lamentation. You enter this world in lamentation and most likely leave in lamentation. And suffer a fair amount of lamentation in between. Sometimes life is a never-ending series of humiliations. I see the parents in the audience agreeing. So, I mean, to give support, she was saying like, what is the value of talking about Krishna? This is some girl in the world, of what she's under. And what he's saying is, what helps people is, food, clothing, shelter, an occupation, income. These are the things that help people. And then we have to introduce the concept of shreyas and prayas. Prayas, what appears to be immediately beneficial and long-term benefit. If we are eternal, then we need to redirect ourselves towards long-term benefit. People understand long-term benefit in terms of like retirement. But like Janardhan Maharaj said to his parents when he had like some serious meeting with them after going to these good schools but showing no interest in developing a mundane life. And they had one of these heart-to-heart conversations, and he said to them, what is your goal of your working? And they said, well, to retire someday. And he said, I'm retiring today. I'm announcing my retirement. But you're only 23. I'm announcing my retirement. You said the goal is retirement. I'm retiring. Right? That's Maharaj being clever, but also true. But not in terms of to retire from the mundane. Right? We're suffering from heart disease, hridrogam. To enable an addict is not what's the word? Benevolent. It's not true benevolence to enable an addiction. That the addiction has to be cured. Vikreditam brajavaduridam cha Vishnu shraddhanvato anushanayad varnayedyak. Bhakti param bhagavati pratilabhya kamam hridrogamashu api hinoti achirena dhira. Like Lochan Das Thakur, recent disappearance, what did he say? Baja Baja Bai, Chaitanya Nitai, Sudrida, Kori, Vishaya Chariya, Sangsare Majia, Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. Vishaya Chari. You'll only be able to give up this thirst for the mundane, this attachment to the mundane, this distraction, fascination, delusion, saying, by worshipping Chaitanya Nitai and Nityananda. So, and to overcome hridrogam, how do they connect? We see that in the beginning of the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's commentary, it's interesting to note, he begins by talking about Radha and Krishna. So we hearing about their divine love and divine pastimes will cure the heart of hridrogam, of heart disease. But how to get to the point where you're qualified to hear that? Then we understand. Achire dhira, vishaya chariya sangsare maji. We have to break the stranglehold that lust has upon the heart. Right? So Saraswati Thakur begins his commentary in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, written by Vrindavan Das Thakur, who's a parshad of Nityananda Prabhu, but by first speaking about the glories of Radha and Krishna. And as we know from Srila Guru Maharaj, the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, this is the Acharya Leela of Radha and Krishna. As he writes in the invocatory section, of Sri Sri Prabhupada Jivanamritam. Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam Nityam Nomi Navadvipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai. It's very beautiful. Guru Rupa Hari, the Guru Rupa of Hari. We can hear what it's, even without translation, we can hear. The Guru Rupa of substance, the Guru Rupa of Krishna. What's the Guru form of Krishna? Guru Rupa Harim. Gauram Radha Ruchi Vrichavratam. Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who that is Gauranga means connection with Radharani. Because Krishna is not normally golden. She is. Right? He's Shama Sundar. How does Shama Sundar transform into Gauranga Sundar? But by connection with the heart of Srimati Radharani. That's a very beautiful thing. Right? So Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam. And it's sort of a double thing here because Ruchi, taste, and Ruchira means beauty. Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam, covered by the heart and halo of Radharani, enveloped in the heart of Radharani, and the radiance of that heart, which Gurudev said, and Tungamani Mandire means Radharani's heart is like a lighthouse of Krishna Prem, right? Illuminating all the spiritual existence, and of which this existence is merely a perverted reflection. The heart of Radharani is illuminating the spiritual world, revealing all service to Krishna. Bhargo Bhai Vrishabhanu Jatma Bibabai Ka Radhana Sri Puram. Right? So, why did I say that? Because, what did I say before that? Before that. Yes. How to get to the point where you can hear about them. Hear these things. So, and Saraswati Thakur talking about Radha and Krishna at the very beginning of his Chaitanya Bhagavat. So it's about Mahaprabhu. Why is he talking like that? And he also mentions there, and he's saying that Vrindavan Das Thakur is telling us that if you try to search for pastimes, like of Krishna Gopi pastimes, and try and extract that from the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and his devotees in Navadvip, Puri, etc., you're misdirected and wasting your time, and you'll end up in offense, aparad. So, then, but at the same time, it's meant to take you in the direction of that plane. But see how cautiously and carefully it's being presented there. Right? And then, what is the basis for this? He's saying, so the topics of Krishna, hearing about Krishna, they're like gems, chintamani gems, jewels. Said, and if you possess some jewels, where do you keep them? Everyone should know. If you have some valuable jewel, you keep them in a very safe place. Right? So he says, what is the safe place for all the jewels of the pastimes of Krishna and Mahaprabhu? Is in the mouths of Anantashesh. Right? It was an expansion of Balaram Nityananda. And his thousands heads, we're told the universes are resting on his heads without him knowing it. It's not like, I gotta get these universes off my head. He doesn't even know they're there. They're nothing. It's not that he's like straining or getting a migraine from all these universes. They're just there without any effort, effortlessly. But in his mouths, his thousand mouths, that's where the jewels of the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and of Krishna, they're all there. And he's saying the glories of the pastimes of Krishna since before the beginning of time. And continuously, and unable to exhaust the glories of the Lord. So he's making the case that this is not something, we're not interested in something that is the imagination of a human being. Right? So it means that actually Shastra, proper, Shabda Brahma, spiritual sound, divine revelation, it necessarily must descend from the upper world into this plane through a qualified agent. Vrindavan Das Thakur, on the basis of his unalloyed devotion to Nityananda Prabhu, is qualified. And what he's presenting is not, as we say, netihasa nikalpana, not historical in the conventional sense of the word, neither is imagination. It is divine revelation passing through him. So he is, at the beginning of his work, praising Nityananda Prabhu and Gaur Nityananda. Right? And saying, only in this way, only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu can these things be expressed. Remember, he's Ananta Shesh. All the glories of Krishna are coming from him. The first, other than Krishna, is Balaram, who's the source of, Mul Sankarshan, Maha Sankarshan, Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kiradakshay Vishnu, whom all the avatars enter this world. So what is that other song? Is that Akroda Paramananda? What is that? Akroda Nityananda? Huh?
Paramananda Nityananda Rai.
Yes, that's another one of his songs. Parama Karana Pahudwijana Nitai Gora Chandra. So his and saying that Nityananda and Kaviraj Goswami the same, saying, Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar. There are many different avatars, but it's generally he calls him the Kripa Avatar, the mercy avatar. He's saying, by the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, did I get entrance in the Vrindavan, where by the grace of Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan, I'm able to express the Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, the internal reason for the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, does someone evolve to that position, or that is their actual position? Or there's a way that we can see them evolve toward their actual position? Leela, pastimes. In one place in the light of the Bhagavad, Srila Prabhupada says, when the sky is clouded, you can distinguish between the clouded portion and the unclouded portion. He said, but when the clouds are removed, you can't distinguish between that part of the sky which was once clouded and that part which was never clouded. Nityananda, Nitya Baddha, Nitya Siddha. They say, when the clouds of illusion are upon one, there's a Nitya Baddha, there's Nitya Siddha. When the clouds are removed, you cannot distinguish. Unless maybe you're Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And he, for analysis' sake, not for the sake of demoting anyone or disparaging anyone or diminishing their prestige, but for the sake of analysis, these type of gopis, and give different categories and how they have achieved these positions. So, we shouldn't try to force any particular understanding, but rather faithfully, Shraddhan Vito Anushanaya Dattavarna Yedya. Faithfully hear and gradually things will be revealed to us. And that is not just for us, it's true all along the way. We see some evidence in the pastimes of Srila Jayadev Goswami that he's writing Gita Govinda. And we're told Mahaprabhu, behind closed doors, particularly in the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes, always behind closed doors in the Gangbir with Swarup Damodar and Ramananda, hearing Chandidas, Vidyapati, Jagannath Balabhanatak, Krishna Karnamritam, and what else? The Gita Govinda of Jayadev. And it's interesting, if you look, if we think, well then that's what we should be doing. Why do we make that assumption? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is perfectly composed, Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, as being, from Madan Gopal through him. Right? How many verses are there from Chandidas, Vidyapati, Jayadev, Jagannath Balabhanatak, and Krishna Karnamritam? On Chandidas, I think none. Vidyapati, there may be a line quoted. A line from the Jagannath Balabhanatak, a couple of slokas. Couple of slokas from Krishna Karnamritam. And a couple of slokas from the Gita Govinda of Jayadev Goswami. So what Mahaprabhu is relishing behind closed doors, diving deep into the depths of Radha Bhav, the depths of separation. Baihe Vishajalahoy, Bitare Anandamoy Krishna Premar Adbhuta Charit, the wonderful, astonishing characteristic of Krishna Prem in separation is where the heart achieves its greatest depth and yields the most superior type of Krishna Prem and nectarine substance. Externally appearing to be poisoned by cobra venom, internally relishing some peculiar, extraordinary nectarine substance. So he's plunging the depths of Radha Bhav in the company of Ramananda and Swarup Damodar. And they're sometimes supplying this with appropriate songs, slokas, some to augment a particular sentiment, others to give relief to separation, anguish. And what is Gita Govinda? All of these things, they must be thematically consistent, and there must be connecting threads. They're not just random, anecdotal evidence for generic divinity. They're all going in a particular direction. What is the specialty of the Gita Govinda is that it establishes the primacy of Srimati Radharani, that she is in the primary position. Amongst the Braja Gopis, but even with Krishna. In the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamritam, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentions a verse that later, from Gita Govinda, that later appears in the Ramananda Samvad, that establishes, in one line, establishes the supremacy of Srimati Radharani. Half of it, Radhamadaya Hridaye Tatyaja Braja Sundari. His heart fully given over exclusively to Radharani, Tatyaja Braja Sundari. He gives up the company of all the other Braja Gopis, who we must remember. Ananda Chinmaya Sadujvala Vigrahasya. No. Nanda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitavis Tabirja Eva Nija Rupataya Kalavi Goloka Eva Nivisat Akilatma Bhuto Govinda Mari Purusham Tamaham Bhajamin. As Krishna expands, Radharani expands. She expands into the Braja Gopis, the queens of Dwaraka, the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha. In this sense, expansions of her heart. So these gopis, we hear various, Lakshmi Sahasrasatasham Brahma Sevyamanam, hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis. In other places we hear at the Rasa Leela are millions of gopis. Sometimes we hear billions. This thing, billions of inconceivably, divinely beautiful, charming, unique, divine ladies, goddesses. And he leaves all of them for one. So in one line, he's saying, she's that qualified that 1 trillion are canceled. That's inconceivable to us. Because we might think, well, they're all extraordinarily beautiful and inconceivable, and she may be marginally more beautiful than them. But no. What are her qualifications that Krishna would leave 1 trillion for one? That's how it's told, with a line from Gita Govinda. They're saying, one line. I just told you half of the line, half of a verse from that book to establish her position. And the beauty of the poetry. We're here, Mahaprabhu like hearing these verses at different times, and just hearing one would put him into an ecstatic trance. He might faint for hours, lost in the internal world. And one of the verses mentioned there, as Gurudev once said in St. Petersburg, what did he say? Manasa Krishna, remember, he said, good for telling but not explaining. Because we shouldn't discuss these things. We say, oh, if I just say the Sanskrit, then no one will know what it means. And I don't either, but we can hear some of the beauty of the poetic expertise of Jayadev Goswami. Again, these, you hear la, la, ka, ka, ku, ku. It's very beautiful. And this verse, Mahaprabhu liked very much. It says, Lalita lavangalata parishilana kamala malaya samire marukara bikara karambita kokila kujita kunja kutire. See how it ends with ku, 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 like the kokil. Lalita lavangalata parishilana kamala malaya samire marukara bikara karambita kokila kujita kunja kutire. That's a line. How beautiful it is. But that Jayadev, who's so qualified, and look, he's written a book that Mahaprabhu is mad for that book. Right? Radha Bhavaduti Subalita, enveloped in the heart of Radharani, and the radiance of her, the heart is the halo. Gauranga Sundar, he's mad to hear these things. And that Jayadev, so great, so exalted, he's still not overly confident in his own assessment of things. Not that everything that comes out of his pen is divine. He doesn't think like that. In fact, one day he wrote something and he's saying, this is madness. He was about to write it and then thought, no, too much. I'm getting carried away here. Put the pen down, go bathe, calm down, take prasadam, rest a little bit, and then come back. In this very work, Gita Govinda. So he goes to do that. And then we're told that Krishna, he takes on the form of Jayadev Goswami and enters their house, and the wife is preparing lunch, and Krishna writes something in his book. And then comes, and then how fortunate is the wife of Jayadev Goswami. Krishna is now before in the form of her husband, and she's serving him, you know. And then he goes, she thinks, to rest or whatever. Then the custom is the wife would serve the husband that way. Then after taking, then the wife is taking. So now she's taking, saying, oh, this prasadam is really extraordinary. And then Jayadev comes in from bathing and sees his wife eating. And that's not the etiquette. He's saying, what are you doing? He's saying, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm taking prasadam. No, but I haven't eaten yet. What do you mean you haven't eaten? You just ate so much. No, I haven't eaten. She's saying, are you losing your mind? Do you remember you went in and you wrote something in your book, and then you came out here and you took prasadam, and he's saying, what? And he goes in and sees that in his book, what he shuddered to think, his heart shuddered to write. He thought, oh, I cannot write this. And what it was that, remember, this book will show the supremacy of Srimati Radharani. And in their divine pastimes, sometimes there is a cause for disagreement. Sometimes there's no cause and there's disagreement. and blame, fault, culpability. So what he was writing is that Radharani was offended for some reason by Krishna, and that what he wanted to write is that Krishna comes and falls at the feet of Radharani and touches her feet to his head and begs forgiveness. No, I can't write that. That's too much. And then he saw Krishna wrote, Dehi padapalavam udaram. Krishna wrote. He wanted the world to know that. You understand? He thought this is too much and doubted that such a thing could be expressed in the world. But Krishna himself descended and penned it so that he wanted it to be known. He wanted it to be revealed. And that's why he descended as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jadi gaur na hoite tabiki hoite kamare dari tam dehe radhar mahima prema rasasima jagata janatake. Because we always think it's about Krishna, and certainly it is. But that Krishna, whom it's all about, he wants the world to know who is his beloved and that he considers her superior to him. So superior that he wants to experience what it's like to be her. That is inconceivable. So he descends as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When it's time for the Yuga Avatar, the Yuga Dharma, Nam Sankirtan. But who likes to sing the name of Krishna more than Radharani? So now, it's not, it could be saying like, what, Krishna, he wants to keep hearing his own name? As Radharani is hearing the name Krishna, and that's making him mad, and so full of ecstasy he can't contain it, and it is released in ecstatic dance. It's overflowing, ecstatic, overflowing, an ecstatic dance. And what is he doing? Taking more Nam, Krishna, 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 Krishna Nama, Kirtanam. Right? As we hear. Krishna Nama Siddhu Dhamma Danya Dana Sagaram Prema Dhamma Devameva Nomi Gaura Sundaram. So that Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wants the world to know Radhar Mahima, the greatness of Radharani. Right? No one is more Krishna conscious than her. If we are interested in the pursuit of Krishna consciousness, then it must be in connection with her. Otherwise, what kind of Krishna consciousness is that? And who is her greatest advocate? Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Krishna, enveloped in the heart and halo of Srimati Radharani. Radhar Mahima, Prema Rasa Sima. And he's plunging the depths of Radha Bhav to experience the limits or unlimits of her divine love. No. Hare Krishna. And one thing I wanted to say was also that in the Gurvastakam. It's interesting. The first sloka, Sangsara Dava Nalalila Loka, Tvanaya Karuna Gunaganatvam, Praptasya Kalyana Gunanavasya Vande Guru Sri Charanavindam. Like Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. But what's the second verse of the Gurvastakam? Yes. Mahaprabhu. What is, he's saying, Sri Guru, Mahaprabhu Kirtan, Nritya Gita, Varitra Madran, Manaso Rasena. There's always, the mind is, the rasa of Mahaprabhu's kirtan, his dancing, romancha kampas rutaranga, his hairs are standing on end, waves of ecstasy over the divine form. Romancha kampas rutaranga bhaja bande guru Sri Charanavindam. He cannot properly conceive Krishna consciousness without Krishna Chaitanya. It is Mahaprabhu's gift to the world in celebration of the heart and love and the Krishna prema of Srimati Radharani. So Rupa Goswami says, Anarpita charim chirat kornavatirna kalo samar payatam unatojvala rasam swabhakti sriyam Hari Purata Sundar Duty Kadambasam Deepita Sadahradeye Kandares Puratu Va Sachinandana. Hare Krishna. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. 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 Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Radharani Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Radharani Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Sri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Echai Gochai Kori Charana Bandhan. Echai Gochai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha Hoite Vignanash Abhishta Puran. Echai Gochai Dharmuni Taro Das. Echai Gochai Dharmuni Taro Das. Kansavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Kansavara Padarenu Mora Panchagras. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas. Tandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas. Janame Janame More Abhilas. Janame Janame More Abhilas. Echai Gochai Jabe Braje Koilovas. Echai Gochai Jabe Braje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Sri Guru Guru Vaishnava Pade Majai Aman. Sri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriya. Hari Nam Sankirtan Koe Narottamada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paribraja Kacharya Satya Sata Shri Shrimad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Saparikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sri Rup Sanatan Bhattaragana Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Ragana Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Sri Nitai Gaura Chandra Ki Jai. Sri Lochandas Thakur Tirobhav Mahotsav Ki Jai. Sri Jai Dev Goswami Prabhu Tirobhav Mahotsav Ki Jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gop Govina Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Sri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai. Ganga Devi, Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Om Vishnu Pad Vishva Varenya Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mata Charja Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Bhimavadup Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudhan Maharaj Ki Jai. Seva Brinda Ki Jai. Somaveda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande Hari Bol.
Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
And Dandavats Maharaj from Dhananjaya Prabhu, Russia, Priyadarshini Didi, Madhavi Didi, Turin, Italy, Madhavilada Didi, Holland, Ratnakar Prabhu, Russia, Ami's son probably, Ratnakar Prabhu, Russia.
Oh. Ratnakar.
Ratnakar. Madhu Gopal Prabhu, Catherine Rennie, Haripriya Didi, Dandavat Pranams from Ireland. Rasheshwari Didi, Dandavat Pranam from Ivoti, Brazil. Krishna Bhakta Prabhu, my Dandavat to all from Ireland. That's all for today.
Krishna Bhakta
Prabhu, my
should be in
Dandavat.
Canada. Maybe there's another one. There's more. There are many Krishna Bhaktas. Well, actually, what did I say? Koti Mukti Durlabh Madhye Ek Krishna Bhakta. Among 10 million liberated souls, there's one Krishna Bhakta. And he was listening to our broadcast.